Okay, folks, I'm going to try to speed this video up and just get to the nuts and bolts of things. Here we have a KitchenAid side-by-side fridge freezer combo. Model number is KRSC703HPS01. So the issue I'm having is that the ice maker, the auger runs, but there's no ice being produced. Quick glance in the bucket tells me here's why no ice is produced out of the dispenser, because there's no ice in the bucket. So first couple things that I went through, selector switch is in the on position. That could be an ip if somehow it gets flipped off. The next issue the next potential diagnosis I had was maybe our water outlet that feeds that ice tray with water to freeze to fill up our bucket is blocked. So I pulled this cover off. It's 4 screws right here. Simple thing to pull off. I actually did put a heat gun up there to that outlet. Just you got to be really careful with the heat gun, but just it'll melt plastic really fast. But I did put the heat gun on there for just a little bit, just to see if there was any ice that I needed to break up. Not an issue in my instance, but I've heard that that's an issue in some other folks. So my next thought is, okay, we've got ice, we've got some obstruction. So I don't remember when the last time I changed a filter. So I changed the water filter. Thank you, Amazon Prime. Had it, 8 hours after I ordered it. So got here at like 7 a.m. this morning, was able to put that in, run some water through it to get that filter prepped and primed and ready to go. So here we are with a refrigerator, still no ice in the ice bin, no potential solutions. So the next thing I did is I took this cover off. It's a really easy 2-screw deal. Pull this cover off. There should be some paperwork right here taped in that cover. Pull it out and then take a glance down here. So here at this freezer door, we have a bunch of wires going in to our freezer. And the issue that I saw was that this white wire was split. It was literally two ends dangling there. And over time, you can see how opening and closing will split that wire. So that seems to be not normal. So we're going to investigate that further. What I've done now is I've just stripped the ends. I've grabbed a piece of scrap wire and jumped between the two because I want to test this out and see if it does anything in the meantime. So we're going to let that hang out. We're going to wait and see if we can figure out our issue from that. In the meantime, though, I'm going to show you what this wiring diagram looks like. I'm not super familiar with wiring diagrams, but they're not super hard to figure out. Freezer door. Okay, so we're working on the left side, and we're at the bottom. That's where our wires go into the freezer door. So we're going to look for the one that's white. Here's one that says WH. There's other wires that have white as a part of them, but this is the only WH. So it's the second one in. We're going to trace it all the way up to here. Sorry, my focus is terrible. I'm on an iPhone. WH, and it says to some type of sensor that is related to our ice maker. So most likely, I'm going to guess that that's our issue. Our white wire has disconnected this sensor, so it's not sensing something that it needs to produce ice. So I'll hang it up, we'll test it for a little bit, see if we get any ice production with my little jumper. And then if so, we'll come back, remove that little jumper, make the proper connections soldered and so forth. So anyway, this might not be a solution to everyone's problem, but as I understand it, when this door opens and closes, several of these wires could potentially fail. So if you have a failure that you're not diagnosing any other way, you might check these wires to see if there's any issues there and then make the proper connection before you spend $300-400 having somebody make a service call, throw parts at something that maybe doesn't need a part. So anyway, hope this helps. I'll circle back and let you know how it came out and if it fixed our issue, and we just saved ourselves a few $100s. Okay, so really quick, I grabbed a soldering iron. I've got one somewhere from a long time ago, but I have no idea where it is. I grabbed a little bit of 18 gauge wire and some flux or whatever this is called that's for electrical connections. A little bit of tape. I think buying the flux, the soldering iron, and the wire at Ace Hardware, which is, we all know, a little more expensive than something, but it was convenient. So what I learned here is I'm terrible at soldering, but I've got a real tight area to work with. But I just cut a little short piece of wire, soldered it on both ends, and I've wrapped it in electrical tape. I'm sure there are people who are really good at soldering. I'm just not one of them, but they're connected. I don't know how long this will last. I might have to redo it. But the cool thing is that my ice tray, I can kind of feel up in there, and in the ice tray, there is water. There's some ice that's fallen somewhere, but it's not filled up the tray enough for the tray to dump yet, but I think that this might have solved our problem. So just wanted to provide an update, and we'll check back and see. Hopefully that bin will start filling with ice and go from there.